Ooh, what's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, we got some breaking news, right now, regarding Prince Turkey Al Sheikh Mohammed Salman bin. That's a moody plane flying over, you know what I mean? The cabal, making sure they're tracking your man, the YB's infrared rays. Anyway, like I said, Prince Turkey, some of you know him as Desert Diddy. Some of you know him as Mr. Wandering Hand, Prince Wandering Hands, has anointed Deontay Wilder a final chance. Although he ain't sucking Deontay Wilder off. That's the positive news here. He's not saying Deontay Wilder's got a chance on the never never indefinitely. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the point. I'm always be doing too much of the waffling, man. Very annoying. Starting to piss myself off. Anyway, Deontay Wilder offered one last chance at reviving his dead career. Well dead. Super cooked. Against British heavyweight. So, it's a bunch of waffle from this article. Let's get to the quotes. Should he want to fight on? So, should Wilder want to fight on? Riyadh Seasons, Prince Turkey, Desert Diddy, Al Sheikh is willing to welcome him back a third time. In an interview with Charlie Parsons, he was open to the idea of a fight against British heavyweight Derek Chisora. Oh no. That made it clear that the first two fights he staged were not up to par. So that's what I like about Turkey. He ain't telling no lies. Let's get to the quotes. Here we go. They asked me about Wilder Chisora, and I said, clearly, if he's getting himself back, Wilder, why not? But believe me, I tried 2 times and it's not happened. These are solid bars, people. Anyway, Al Sheikh backed up his position in a reply to a fan who asked for Wilder to face either Chisora or his most recent opponent, Joyce. He again said, why not? If Wilder still has it, why not? And that's really my position. A lot of people say, oh, Wilder's finished. He ain't that finished. Yeah, the Zhang knockout, it wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was more of a, not a sucker punch, but it was I call it an unforced error, or a forced error. It wasn't like a beatdown, was it? How many hard fights has Wilder had? He fought a whole bunch of bums. Okay, Fury 2, you could say. But Fury can't punch. All due respect, yeah? Just because Wilder, 200-pound ass, ended up on the floor with no defense. Really, people? If you stand there, yeah, with your hands, you're boxing, and your hands like this, defending, or like this, anyone will go down. If you get hit in the mouth, it doesn't mean you're getting battered. The worst cases of someone getting battered, yeah, is when they're trying to defend and the shots are just cutting through them. And for example, I don't know, you know the way Beterbiev lays it on you. Them cats get battered. Yeah, he ain't fighting bums, and he's still literally cutting a hole through them, just beating the brakes off them. Do you understand? That's a beating. Or when Vosdick fought Adonis Stevenson, that's a beating. Wilder ain't never been beat like that because he's too leaky. Yeah, his chin's suspect and he's too leaky, which means to get battered, you actually have to be in the fight, if that makes sense. You have to be catching some shots. If you're eating all the shots, you go out relatively quickly. It's like in the UFC. No one really gets severe brain damage in the UFC because most of the knockouts, one punch, and a little bit of a basketball head off the floor, or it's one kick. You don't really. You see, there's a few hard fights. Gaethje's had a few hard fights, but you get the point. It's much cleaner. Okay, again, Fury can't. Oh, I hate to say it, break it to you, man. Fury can't punch like that. He's not a puncher. He's just not. So okay, Wilder's had 2 hard fights against a man who can't punch. That's kind of. He's not finished. He's not finished. He just hasn't. I mean, psychologically, he might be finished. People are saying, oh, he's not the same. No, people, he is the same. Yeah, you slow-looking asses. You might have got a very short memory. You forget when he was getting outboxed by Luis Ortiz in both the fights. You forget that. You know what I mean? You got a short memory. You think that. You forget when Luis Ortiz was on his ass for 8 rounds and he got a magical punch. Point. He's only been good against people like Luis Ortiz, who's 60 probably. Who we don't know. Some people say 60. Some people say 55. Some people say 65. On average, a 60-year-old man. Right? So what's your claim to fame here? Deontay. He can't be finished. Yeah? Deontay Wilder cannot be finished. His career ain't been like that to be finished. fighting a whole bunch of bums, knocking most of them out in a round, and then 2 Fury fights. Oh, maybe Fury broke him. No. All that's changed, people, is that Deontay Wilder started fighting real fights. Zhang, real fight. Parker, real fight. Bermain Stavern won a real fight. All these 3 fights have something in common. People who came to fight and can box a bit. All of a sudden, Wilder's magical power in the prime of his career, when he's most hungriest, before he's even made any money, when Wilder fought Bermain Stavern in the first fight, he was his most prime. Never been beat, never been down. On the way up, his big first world title shot, and guess what? No knockdowns. And Bermain Stavern, all due respect, he's got kind of sea-level, solid, basic fundamentals. He can stick his hands to his head, but that's all he's got. He essentially is a heavy bag. Bermain Stavern reminded me, in that first fight, reminds me of like a thinner version of Jarrell Miller. Just a stiff old heavy bag. And really, for someone like Wilder with that right hand, that should be tailor-made, right? In the prime of your career, Deontay Wilder should have been slinging that right hand right down the pipe, splitting the guard and knocking Bermain Stavern spark out. Instead, he's in there with someone who's there to win, has a little bit of boxing skill, and all of a sudden Wilder going life and death 50-50. In fact, I want to see the judges' scorecards. Deontay Wilder box rec. I think the scorecards might have been close with Bermain Stavern, which again will tell you all you need to know. This guy can't score no knockdowns with Joe Parker. Tyson Fury's got no Ngannou. Ngannou is slow and can't box. He put your man Fury down. So forget about you. Oh, he knocked Fury down. Who hasn't knocked Fury down? People, who hasn't? Usyk knocked him out. We love Usyk, right? He's, as far as boxing goes, he's the real deal. He's a small guy fighting these big old bulls, and he making them all cry and beating them up and making them all delusional. We love that. But let's be realistic here. No one can tell me Alexander Usyk can punch, right? And he knocked Tyson Fury out. So forget about Deontay Wilder knocking Tyson Fury down. Just forget about that. It's not Ngannou, people. Ngannou put him down, right? That means anyone can. Any big old bull can jump in there and clip Tyson going down. What more evidence you need? A mixed martial arts fighter who's slow as molasses, knock him down. Usyk, who never knocked no one down. Who was the last person Usyk knocked down? You can't say Dubois, because Dubois didn't get knocked down, he quit, right? That wasn't like a genuine neurological knockdown for Dubois. Dubois just didn't want to fight no more. All credit to Usyk, but let's call a spade a spade. A knockdown is when it's neurological. We watch Virgil Ortiz versus Bochuk. Those were neurological. He got clipped here and his legs started doing the Bambi on ice, right? 100%. Tyson Fury has a neurological knockdowns. That's how he get clipped. He get clipped here and he's... Do you understand? He only have them ones. Fury didn't quit against Usyk. He just got clipped. So whatever. The point is, Usyk can't punch. I like Usyk. He can't punch though. Right? Let's not start changing. Just because we like Usyk, don't mean we're going to change the facts. Usyk can't punch. And he's small. And he put Fury down. Knocked him out. Wilder can't punch like that. Wilder's like... I think Wilder's got any heavyweight power. Yeah, the truth is, Deontay Wilder has generic heavyweight power that any man would have. And the evidence is there, people. Because when he's in there with Bermain Stavern, couldn't knock him down, couldn't knock him out. When he's in there with Parker, couldn't knock him down, couldn't knock him out. Zhang couldn't knock him down, couldn't knock him out. He's only ever knocked down, again, even Tyson Fury, people. A man we know has no chin. Because Usyk knocked him out and Ngannou put him down. So we know Tyson Fury has no chin. Steve S.S. Cunningham has never been a puncher. Put Fury down in his prime. So we know any man can put Tyson Fury down. So people sucking Wilder off because he put Fury down. What planet you on? Who can't do that? Everyone done that. More or less everyone. Apart from Dillian White, the fake yardie. Right? And what are we doing about Wilder? Wilder's supposed to be the biggest puncher of all time. But you can't knock Tyson Fury out. Okay. You can't knock Joe Parker out. Okay. We have to believe, he was broken. No, I was telling you for years he can't punch like that. You man were buying into the hype because he knocked a few bums out. This magical power only turns up when it's a bum. You not find that suspect. That magical power. And the worst thing is, he put Tyson Fury down, but couldn't knock him out. So make your mind up here. Is he the most ferocious puncher, yeah? When he hits you like that, you out. You can't be getting back up, especially someone like Tyson Fury. If Usyk knocked Tyson Fury out for sure, Wilder, a proper heavyweight, should have been done that, especially on Fury's layoff. He couldn't. So forget about Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder has generic. I think Wilder has generic power that any man could have. Anyway, I want to show you this Bermain Stavern fight. Let's look at the scorecards. Okay, all right. Wilder, to be fair, I was wrong. Wilder won in a whitewash. He won basically 10 rounds, so it's one of them. My apologies. He did wash Bermain Stavern apparently, but again, no knockdowns, no knockout, and Bermain Stavern at the time was a 2-star dude, and he couldn't knock him down and couldn't knock him out. People, Eric Molina going 9 rounds. Duhalpus was boxing his head off at points. Went 11 rounds. Spilker, 9. These are bums. These aren't like if Joe Parker is here and Zhang's here or whatever, these men are down here. These are like in my opinion, they're below Chisora. Chisora would beat these men up. I don't know what level these men are, but they're below Chisora, that's for damn sure. Yeah? They're just generic European heavyweights that you could find anywhere. This guy's been knocked out by everyone. Chisora had to go on him. Chisora knocked this guy out cold in the second round. Yeah? Wilder's out there going life and death with dude. And this guy, Brian Jennings, had already knocked this guy out. And Wilder's in there going life and death 9 rounds. And then people say things like, oh, no, Wilder broke him. Stop with that narrative, man. It don't work like that. It just don't. Yeah, if a Donny go 11 rounds, you ain't 11 rounds for a reason. Because you can't punch, right? For a prolific one-puncher, it shouldn't take you 11 rounds for this type of leaky caliber. Duhalpus, Spilker, they leaky, right? They're not like the tightest and the most skillful. They're there to be hit, and you can't get him out of there in the first half. Stop playing. You piss me off. He can't punch. Anyway, in terms of this, Wilder Chisora, obviously Chisora's been representing the Saudis in the UK branch for a while, so it's probably one of them ones where Chisora's been doing a lot of, well, traditionally we call it leg work, but I'll call it butt work. Yeah, let's not cap here. This is the people. No one called this guy the Desert Diddy for no reason. So like I said, Chisora's been representing Saudi almost from the initiation. He was like their kind of, what was it, envoy, some boxing envoy or something like that. So he's been doing a lot of butt work, aka leg work for the Saudis. And I think this is Turkey trying to put him back on for his services to the Desert Diddy crown. Yeah, let's put Chisora on. And Chisora did beat Joyce, but I think I'd rather see Joyce in this. Joyce is fresher than Chisora. Yeah, and yes, Chisora won, and yes, Joe Joyce went down, but I think Chisora ate enough as well. I'm a humanitarian here, and I think Joe Joyce needs to eat. Right? He played himself. He fought Zhang. He paid for it, but Chisora for me, he wasn't a good. Yes, he put Joe Joyce down. That won him the fight for me. But outside of that, he was way too like running to the ropes. And I just wouldn't want to see that versus Wilder. Although he will come and put it on Wilder. He will come storming forward and bowl some shots over on Wilder. He could beat Wilder, to be quite frank. But I'd rather see Joyce. I'd rather see Joe get paid. Ain't gonna lie. This is the level Wilder's at though. And I tell you what, if Desert Diddy trying to make something, I wouldn't mind seeing Bakoli versus Wilder. Yeah, Bakoli versus Wilder. Like, Bakoli, listen, Joe Joyce was an underground type of cat. He was counterculture. He was doing the hard things. He had to fight Dubois as an underdog. He had to fight Joe Parker as an underdog or whatever. He had to fight Zhang. He's done the hard work. He's lost, but he's done that. Really, Joe Joyce is old school, man. He wanted to people. Joe Joyce wanted to fight Usyk, right? So it's not like this guy Cornball. He wanted to fight Usyk. He wanted to take all these fights, even fights that weren't that big, like the Usyk fight. It's not like some man come out, yeah, and they're on the scene, and all they're doing is trying to, oh, I want Tyson. Oh, I want Anthony. We all want Anthony Joshua. Let's call a spade, people. I'd fight Anthony Joshua, right? That don't make you edgy. But Joe Joyce came out and said, okay, Joe Joyce was in line for Usyk. He was in line for the big payday. Joe Joyce was literally in line, essentially, with AJ. If AJ had to beat Usyk, he'd have been... So Joyce was there then. He arrived. All Joyce had to do was sit back and wait. And he said, no, I want to fight. He didn't say any fight. He didn't lay low. He took on Zhang. That, for me, he came unstuck, but I respect that, man. I respect that. He's either naive or whatever, but... Well, we all thought, to be fair, Joyce was a heavy favourite in that fight, so let's not backtrack now. We all thought Joyce was going to do a number on Zhang, so let's not backtrack. But the fact is, Joyce has been very unlucky, and I think, Chisora's been around for 15 years, people. He's had 3 Fury fights, a Vlad fight. Did he fight Vitaly as well? He's fought them all, man. He's fought them all. So, and plus his health, I think Chisora's, even though I think Joyce's chin's gone completely, because Chisora don't knock no one down like that. Chisora just looks really worn in there. And even the commentator said after Joyce scored the knockdown, he looked like the guy who was fighting. Sorry, who'd been knocked down. He went straight. Chisora put Joyce down and went straight back to the ropes, looking knackered. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to watch that, man. I wouldn't want to. I mean, his head movement was good, to be fair, on the ropes. I don't think he's got. I mean, neither, man. Let's call it a spade, man. Joyce and Chisora both don't have much left. They're both the same age, 40-year-old. And Joyce definitely. And neither of these guys have much left. And that's maybe why the Bacoli thing makes sense. Bacoli people, who here thinks Joyce would beat Jared Anderson? I don't. Jared Anderson would not, or beat up Joyce, if I'm honest. And maybe that's the one to do, actually, to put Joe on. If Joyce can't get Wilder, I wouldn't mind seeing Joyce versus Jared Anderson. That's a fair fight. That should really get Jared Anderson back on. But outside of that, Bacoli. If you're not going to give it to Bacoli, if you're not going to give it to Joyce, sorry, give it to Bacoli, man. Wilder versus Bacoli. Let's get Bacoli some boost up. And again, Bacoli for me is becoming a bit of a counterculture cat, because he ain't saying, "Oh, give me Wilder." He's actually going out for he wants the big ones. He wants Zhang. I'm like, fuck yeah. I wouldn't. Let's let this. Some people deserve to build. Yeah. Joyce really deserved to build after taking out Dubois, popping his cherry, after knocking out Joe Parker, the first man to do so. Joyce really deserved to have some builder fights, some big name fights. He didn't, and he paid for it, so he does deserve it. But Bacoli too. I mean, Bacoli hasn't done as much as Joyce. Yeah, Bacoli is essentially at the stage where Joyce beat Dubois. Dubois and Jared Anderson have the same kind of hype at relative times. So Bacoli still needs to stop someone like a Parker or whatever. But either way, Wilder versus Bacoli, we all want to see that. We all want to see that. Wilder versus Joyce, I want to see that. Wilder versus Chisora, I'll watch it. I don't know. Chisora won the fight, man, but I don't know, man. He should really hang it up now. Let's have a look at Chisora's resume. I'd rather see Wilder versus White as well. Dillian White's been out for a while. Derek Chisora, boxer. Who's playing this moody caravan music, man? Very annoying. Sweet Caroline. I'll give you something sweet in a minute, so you best believe. Let's have a look at. So look, Chisora's fought Joyce. Okay. Tyson Fury, Pulev, Parker. He's fought Parker. Parker's not a massive name, but he's up there. It's a solid name to fight him twice. He's fought Usyk. This guy, Dillian White 3 times, didn't he? Oh my god. People, let's go from the bottom actually. Chisora's fought everyone about 4 times each. He's been making money. He's fighting Danny Williams in 2010. Knocking him out. So he fought Tyson Fury once. Vitaly Klitschko. David Haye. Tyson Fury again. Pulev. White again. He even fought Caballero. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. And apparently, look at this. Chisora had a draw with Caballero, essentially. And some people were saying, Eddie Holm was saying it was a robbery at the time. Chisora beat Caballero. And I remember watching that fight and thinking he beat him. Dillian White a 3rd time. David Price, Usyk, Parker, Pulev, Fury. This guy's done enough, man. He wants 50 fights, but I think there's a chance. I'd say there's a 30-40% chance Chisora beats Wilder. Wilder's that shot. Wilder can't throw his hands. Chisora will throw his hands, but it's the gas tank. If Chisora could throw his hands and slip and slide on the ropes for 10 rounds, he'd wash Wilder. It's the fact that he only has about 2 or 3 rounds in him, and then the rest of the time he's on the ropes looking like he's an accident waiting to happen. The whole Joyce fight, I was thinking, oh man, Joyce is so slow. If he was any quicker, Chisora was an accident waiting to happen. You can't watch that Joyce fight and tell me that he was in control. He was winning it because of the knockdown and some of the shots he was landing, but it was like I was just waiting. But Joyce is too slow. He's got the Muhammad Ali going on, I believe. Joyce has. But Joyce versus Wilder, Joyce has earned that for me, if I'm honest. Has Chisora earned it? He's beat Joyce, but Chisora's had his fights that didn't make no sense. Right? Chisora's had the Tyson Fury third fight, which was a massive payday. He's had them. He don't need to soak up no more of the value now. Let Joe Joyce eat a bit, man. Because Joe Joyce, he done that leg work. Let him eat a bit now. So I'd rather see it go to Joe Joyce or Bacoli. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Will Wilder come back? It's about the bag, I guess. If Turkey puts a decent bag on the line, why not? Especially like someone, Malik Scott. If Wilder gets offered, particularly Joe Joyce, he'll be thinking, I can line him up for the right hand. We know Joe Joyce, he's been getting hit with the right hand. And maybe that's what Turkey should do. Turkey shouldn't really, unless it's a massive bag, Wilder might go for it, but Turkey shouldn't really offer Wilder Bacoli. Because I'm thinking, would you want to fight Bacoli? I wouldn't. That's going to turn you off. If you're semi-retired, the last thing you want to hear is that you want to come back against Martin Bacoli. I'd have thought. But Joe Joyce is like that mid ground where you can say, okay, he's leaky, he's super susceptible to exactly the right hand, he's slow as molasses. This could be the highlight reel fight for us. And at the same time, Joe Joyce gets some retirement money. So logically speaking, it makes sense. Of course, we'd all love to see Martin Bacoli go in there and bash Wilder up. I'll take it. But humanitarianly speaking, I'd rather see Joe Joyce get the bag. Anyway, oh yeah, and just quickly, people, before I go, more time. I didn't spend any time, even though I spent 22 minutes gassing the place airways up for you, man. I didn't mention about Prince Turkey, really. Maybe I did and I forgot. It's one of them CTE / dementia ones. Anywho, I rate Turkey. I said that earlier. I didn't expand what I meant. I rate Turkey because if you're a finished bull, he ain't interested in you no more like that. That's the truth. He put Deontay Wilder on twice. It seems to be 2 times and you're out. Mate, or 2 or 3 times for Turkey and you're out. It's not so much, and that's why, again, I think Turkey is a connoisseur of the game. For Turkey, I believe, it's not so much that you fell off and you lost 2 or 3 times. Turkey ain't trying to see some washed up bull take a bag who don't want to fight. If Wilder was in there, yeah, with Parker letting the ting off, just licking it off, and then he got boxed up, Turkey would have been impressed. Turkey would have been saying, but believe me, I've tried 2 times to revive this corny cat's career and it's not happened. That's showing his frustration. Right? A lot of man, Eddie Hearn would be still trying to... Eddie Hearn's the traditional kind of Calvin Candy 1825 cat. Yeah, he know how to... A Mandingo bull might be psychologically finished, but if they're not capitalistically finished, you can squeeze some more juice out of the Mandingo bull. Eddie Hearns would have been doing that. And when Eddie Hearns promotes a washed up, finished Mandingo bull, he'll make you believe it's the best thing since sliced bread. Eddie Hearn was telling you before on the Hergovich card, on the 5v5 card, Wilder's dangerous. Yeah, he know how to. He had me half believing it, if I'm honest. So that's what the difference in Turkey and Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn to this day will be telling you, he's coming back. Turkey's being realistic, man. He washed up. But believe me, I tried to revive this Mandingo Bull's career and it's not happened. And I'm tired of paying. ... That basically means I'm tired of paying his corny ass for nothing. There's no entertainment. That's for damn sure, right? He's not in there losing, letting the ting off. He's in there losing with his tight £210 butt twitching. No diddy. Do you understand, people? That's what he'd be doing. Who would have watched that? Wilder wasn't the most entertaining fighter anyway, if that makes sense. As a whole package, it was a party trick. And when you ain't letting that party trick off, who you are is a washed up 1825 Mandingo bullfighter. Good for nothing. And if you watch the film Django, the great philosopher Calvin Canty, he explains to you when a Mandingo bull finished. He gives you kind of the... What would you call it? He gives you the history of a finished Mandingo bull in that film. Right? So, anyway, that's that part done as well. Also, what was I going to say? I'm going to waffle about someone else, I'm sure. Did I mention is Wilder finished or not? I'm not sure if I did. I probably did. I mean, this video is knocking on 30 minutes now, but whether I mentioned is he finished or not is irrelevant because I'm fixing to mention it again. For me, whether he's finished is irrelevant. It don't matter. Get him back in there, man. He's still got some name clout. That's the bottom line here. And like Turkey says, if he wants to go in there, and that might be a test. Then again, we know boxing's a psychological game. Sometimes you do need to rebuild. Right? Dubois had to rebuild against Jarrell Miller. So maybe he should go in there with Joe Joyce. That would be people. One thing for sure. To be fair to Wilder, Parker is basically looking the best in his career. And even at weak times in his career, he went 50-50 with Dillian White. He didn't get knocked out by a prime AJ, etc., etc. He beat an Andy Ruiz. So that wasn't an easy fight. Beating Parker wasn't an easy fight. And damn sure beating Zhang, or losing to Zhang and losing to Parker, aren't bad losses, if that makes sense. So maybe Wilder, clearly his confidence is down. Yeah, he got punched up by a man who can't punch, Tyson Fury, twice. He got beat by Joe Parker, punched up by Zhang. So the Joe Joyce fight, it makes sense. If Wilder wants it, yeah, that is a chance fight. Joe Joyce is a chance fight. If you can't get a highlight reel KO by Mr. Joe, the right hand, put the right hand here, Joyce, yeah, if Deontay Wilder can't get back on commercially, in terms of marketing, in terms of highlight reels, from Joe, put the right hand here, from Joe, put the right hand here, Joyce, he is finished. That is it then, right? There's no doubt about that. If Wilder goes points with Joe Joyce, he's finished. If he loses to Joe Joyce, he's finished. If he does not get a startling one-punch KO against Joe Joyce, bearing in mind, 50-year-old, slow, has never been a puncher like that Derek Chisora, put Joe Joyce down, right? So Wilder should go in there, if he's got anything left, this should be his last fight. I've decided now, forget Bakoli. Because he could, again, the Bakoli fight is like the Zhang fight or like the Parker fight. You could still have something left, but be a bit down on your luck and lose them fights. I mean, with all due respect, you could be buzzing. Wilder could be at the peak of his career and have still lost to Parker and have still lost to Zhang, right? Wilder could have been at the peak of his career and still lost to Bakoli. So that's not really a test of whether someone's got anything left, which is what Wilder's career has become now. The test of whether you've got anything left off for the game whatsoever is Wilder versus Joe Joyce. That's the bottom line. That's the fight I want to see. I've talked myself into it now. And if he knocks out Joe Joyce, then we can talk about, he sparks out Joe Joyce in a few rounds, cold. Now we can talk about Bakoli. Yeah? Now we can talk about something else. Now we could possibly talk about Johnston. If Johnston won, you're right. But Wilder needs that now. We need to confirm how useless he is. Because even a finished Wilder, given how slow Joe Joyce is, given how leaky his defense is, given how old Joe Joyce is, given how washed up he is, if Wilder can't clip Joe Joyce, I'm telling you now, right now, as I sit here, I'm 90% sure Wilder is a kind of average heavyweight, in my opinion. If he can't clip Joe Joyce, I don't care how finished you are. George Foreman was boxing until he was 50 years old. So don't give me the age rubbish. If you can't knock out Joe Joyce cold, he was always an average heavyweight. And even if he did knock him out cold, it'd still be on the, I'm not sure. But he'd be for sure useless if he can't knock out Joe Joyce cold. Chisora does put him down. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. Let off the bell, 100%. No doubt about it. People, stop it.